Welcome to Inside Raider Nation, live here from Sharksburger in the Cold Spring Shopping Center location. I'm Sonny Zapeta, host, and joining me again for what are we on, well, Coach?
A lot.
Week, week 12, 13. We're in the playoff week, Thanksgiving week, and it's playoff week. So very fortunate to be able to get to watch the Raiders play again this week, and it's going to be what the media was calling the rematch from last year. In the same game against Liberty Hill in the regional semifinals. And so, Coach, we're looking forward to it. But joining us again, Coach Mann of the Rouse Raiders and area champ for the second year in a row. That's nice.
These back-to-backs keep happening.
Oh.
We just need to now it's time to make some new territory.
There you go. Get past this next round. But it's not going to be an easy task, but it's going to be a great game. We're looking forward to it. I know Coach Mann and his staff has been putting in the work. And it's going to be a good game. So we'll talk a little bit more about that game coming up, 7 o'clock Friday at Pflugerville, the Pflugerville Stadium.
P-Field.
The P-Field, as we like to call it. So we'll let you know more about the streaming options and how you can watch it if you're not going to be there. I just think you need to be there, be quite honest with you.
Yeah, we need to pack that thing out. It needs to be a sellout. It needs to be a big atmosphere, for sure.
Big atmosphere. Friends of friends. Invite your neighbors. They haven't seen Rouse Raiders play live and in person. A great time to do it would be this Friday, and we need everybody that we can get to pack that place. We want to get it sold out. That would be awesome. That would be a fun environment.
It'd be awesome.
Be a fun environment. Coach, we're going to talk about the area championship game against Floresville Tigers. So you guys were able to take care of them 59-19. It's the second week in a row you scored 59 points, and I think it was almost Cody was gone the week before, and so we left the scoreboard up, and he thought it was the prediction of the score of the game. It was 59-6, and I said, well, at least we got one team right. We got the 59 points. That's 2 times in a row that you've scored 59 points in playoff games. I mean, that in and of itself is a feat. But that just talks about how potent this offense is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we started off the game on fire. You know, we were able to, again, receive the ball to start the game and went right down and scored. You know, took the momentum that we needed to quickly because we knew Floresville offense was dangerous. They had scored a lot of points on the year, and, you know, they answered with the drive of themselves right back. And I thought, here we go, you know. Wasn't too nervous because I know our defense was going to settle down. I knew that – it's just hard when you're playing such a different opponent out of a different area that you don't see. You can't compare speed to, size to. They were a lot bigger, the wide receiver spots, than what we thought they were off of film. They had some great size. They were, you know, I thought they were about what they were up front on the O-line. Obviously, their quarterback, running back were exceptional. Number 6 was a really good football player for them as well. We knew that coming in. So, you know, and I think it just takes a little while to see that for a defense to see the different speed of somebody you're not used to seeing and against opponents you're not really sure on film. And after that drive, obviously, we settled in. Offense then went right back down. We punched another one in real quick. Then special teams came into effect. We got the big stop on the, you know, kicked it, went through his hands. They got it out to the 1. You know, 2 plays later, we get a holding call, get to safety, and then it was just all downhill from there. Defense really stepped up, had some big-time stops, great pass breakups in the end zone. That was one of the better games we played secondary-wise, especially in the red zone on fade balls and stuff. They had hit a lot of targets previously in those games. So it's just great to see all that stuff happen and for us to get out and then, you know, pull ahead and avoid almost all the disasters that you could avoid in the second half and of a game and, you know, come out and be area champs and a chance to play over Thanksgiving. Yeah. That's what we wanted.
It's always a good thing. And we're going to switch things up here on executive producer Cody Franks because he's now back in the seat where he belongs. We appreciate everything that he does. This is Thanksgiving week. We're thankful for everybody that helps bring Inside Raider Nation here online. It's Auto Nation, Chevy, West Austin, the Crossover, Smile Doctors, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, Chaparral Ice Center, Express Oil Change, and Tire Engineers have jumped on here during the playoffs. And also Jamie Armstrong of EXP Realty, Texas Medicare Advisors, and Covert Cadillac.
Yeah, we also have Texas Regional Bank, who was our sponsor right away for early in the year. Covered our Dave Campbell's special magazine that we had. Lacombe Chiropractic Massage Center, who offers weekend adjustments to all of our players on the weekends in recovery. Does a great job there supporting Rouse. Yard Bash, it's always neat to see all the cool things Yard Bash does week in and week out. You got Rock Springs, One Touch Point, who does a lot of our printing for the Booster Club. We really appreciate those guys over there. Serenity Pools, Shark Burger, of course, our favorite place to be on Monday nights, and the Grove as well.
So we appreciate all the sponsors and those that, especially those that have been supporting the Raiders through the playoffs with their shout-outs. Some of those have really been cool to see on social media. Still an opportunity to do that as we continue the playoff run this week. So be sure to go to rousefootball.org. You can find out more information there. But we are going to switch things up, Cody. We're going to talk about the players of the week for the game against Floresville. And then we'll lead into that. Coach, lead into the highlights because we have a lot of highlights that we'll talk about and some drive summary and kind of how we're getting spoiled up in the booth. Right, Cody? Right, we're getting spoiled. Cody, got you there, Cody. And we're going to start with Defensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, Zach Lacombe, again, he's been one of the anchors throughout this whole entire run we've had this season. And again, not only in his run-stop ability, but he had 3 sacks, which tied the all-time record for sacks in a game with some pretty high names on that. And so that was cool to see him get up on that record board permanently now at Rouse High School. He leads the team in tackles. He's continuously production and watching from where Zach was, last year as a sophomore on varsity, mixing it in to early this season to now. I mean, seeing the on-field adjustments, communicating with the coaches on the sideline, handling the process procedures, the game slowing down for him, which is really exciting to watch and see.
It's really good, and you just see him a lot of opportunities for him to make those tackles, him and Dash, and then your outside linebackers. I mean, you talk about the defense, and I've said it all season long, the confidence that has been building, and you start seeing them play at a really high level, but then you start seeing the guys that come in behind them and just keep that momentum going, which is really cool to see at this point in the season. We'll go to the next one, which should be our Offensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, Zach Allen, offensive lineman. I love it when they recognize those guys. I mean, you could always go Mason, Troy, Jalen, Cannon, EJ had a great game coming back as well. But those big guys up front, and Zach had an outstanding game. How much he's grown in his time, we've talked about that. But, those guys up front do their job. We do better on the back end every time. It allows Mason to have the time in the pocket. It allows for him to be able to deliver the ball we need to, and the way we were able to come off and run the ball against them when we needed to on some long drives right before half, right at the end of the game, to really kind of settle the game down from that perspective was nice. So shout-outs to all the offensive linemen, but especially Zach Allen.
Yeah, they've grown so much this year, and a great job by Coach Hayhurst and Coach Noble coaching those guys up for sure this season. Then I believe we're going to this Special Teams Player of the Week. For Floresville, somebody named Jace Mann.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, it's always a surprise. Coach Mann doesn't know any of this until we actually show him. So I get to do the graphics, and I get to surprise him on Monday night. So it's good. But I think there was one blocked field goal.
Yeah, he did. He had a block. We had moved him around a couple different places throughout the week. Obviously, DeLeon gets a lot of credit for all the blocks. And it was funny. We knew DeLeon was going to get the one he got on the big block. And then Jace had kind of moved over there. That's where Troy kind of had been. But to keep from having subbing and doing things, we moved Jace back over there with this linked. And I believe Jacob told him the play before, and he's like, they're going to block me. You're going to get this one. And he came through, got the big block on it, and, adding him to a new position and just selling out on it was really cool to see that happen.
Yeah, so Special Teams Player of the Week, Mr. Jace Mann, and then we overall Player of the Week. And it's been all over social media. Jeff Jones for the news crew is like, yeah, it's so unkind and probably illegal in 12 states. The stiff arm, if you haven't seen it, you need to check that out. But it was probably one of the best runs, and that's what Cody said. Cody's watched Rouse football for 2 years now, and that's probably his most explosive all-around. Like, he ran past people, broke tackles, and then you stiff arm to cap it off. It was a phenomenal effort by him, not just on that play, but throughout the game. They just couldn't bring him down.
No, how many people keep sleeping on this kid just blows my mind. Yeah. It's unreal. He's got the size, he's got the speed, he's got the strength, he has the on-field intelligence. The way he just plays the game is so special, and they don't realize how big he is and how strong. I mean, Jalen's one of the strongest kids that I've been around in our program. And he can run. He can carry that strength. A lot of guys that get that are super strong, lower body, maybe not had that top end.
Yeah.
And, it was something, the stiff arm was amazing, unbelievable. But he literally stiff arm, and when that guy went to the ground, Jalen was at a dead stop at that moment too when he stiff arm, then accelerated and left and scored. That's that elite stuff that, from everything I've been told, it's what's supposed to get you recruited. So everybody quit sleeping on this guy and let's go. I mean, he's a big time football player. So proud of him. It's fun watching him grow through the years and the things he's doing. But that one, he got the under route that he drug 3 or 4 guys down to the 1-yard line. The first down, the first time we went to him, he made 4 or 5 guys miss. Blew past him on one we just barely missed. I mean, he blocks unbelievable selfishly on the edges. I mean, he's just, you say this is a receiver, this is what you want, and that's what's special about him.
Well, it's good to see those younger kids being able to be out there and see his leadership and see kind of his example that he's been setting so far this season. But yeah, I mean, if anybody in Floresville got their feelings hurt, it should be the DB that got the stiff arm, because it's been all over social media for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to see it on the highlights as well when we get to those. And then our sports med teacher of the week and our scout team. That is always so important. And senior Logan Fleming. Yeah,
and then Logan, again, he jumped in for me last week because I do a lot of times I work with the scout team guys a lot. I love it because the connection I get to make. And, we got a big task this week in scout team, obviously trying to simulate what Liberty Hill does. And I asked Logan as he came in this morning, and he's like, I already knew you were going to ask. And, yeah, Coach, I'm all in. And so really proud of that. That's that senior, when you're doing that, when those freshmen, some sophomore, juniors that are out there having to do it, and they're like, guys, that's a senior over there. This is how important it is. So you can't win. Those guys make your program. They make your program the success it is. Yes, the all-district players, the superstars, though you got to have those, but you got to have these guys are just as valuable in what we do. So same with our sports med people, Adam Wilson and all that, the things that they do from the sports edge mind. And I'm not sure about that teacher of the year. I think the coaches may be having a little fun with that. Coach Pleasant, teacher of the year. That surprised me.
Again, it's always a shocker for him every Monday when I come in and get to show him the graphics this week. But Coach, I just put up what they tell me.
So you.
I know
we're gonna have to have a talk about that.
Gonna have to run that by you before, so maybe
ahead
of time.
Now I'm gonna have to start looking at them when they're putting stuff like that up.
But anyway, all right. Well, Coach, we'll get to the highlights. We're going to take a break, and we'll hear from our sponsors, and we'll come back and we'll look at the highlights from the Floresville game, and we'll talk about those because there's a lot to talk about. So we'll come back with more Inside Raider Nation live from Sharksburger right after this. The Crossover's vision is to give kids and adults a chance to find out what they're passionate about and to motivate them to work hard to achieve great things. We want to bring families together in one destination where they can enjoy their time together no matter what dreams they are chasing. From here, you can go anywhere. The Crossover is Cedar Park's premier sports, wellness, and entertainment destination and is a proud supporter of Rouse Raiders football. Visit crossovertx.com to learn more and go Raiders. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Our pits are 100% wood-fired with oak, a slower burning wood than mesquite used by others. Along with thyme and oak, we cook with a dry spice that ensures each plate of Rudy's Barbecue is perfectly ready for you. Apply some of our famous sauce, and dinner is served. Welcome back to Inside Raider Nation live here from Sharksburger as we're going to now jump into the highlights from the Floresville game. Got lots of highlights to look at, and we're going to try to – hopefully I mixed them up pretty well, Coach. Area championship.
Yeah.
Started out really well, and, of course, we got to start with your defense here.
Yeah.
Always like this angle here of watching. And unfortunate – I think this is a backup quarterback after Fuller went down.
Yeah, that's sad. I hate to see a starting quarterback go down. I hate to see any kid go down. I don't care what side they're playing on. Yeah, but this is a great job. Again, good coverage. He has nowhere to go. 14 was an athlete, too, scrambling around. Great job by Zach and Jace, staying patient, getting in there and getting up to the fourth down. That was a huge play. Kind of got us off the field at that situation.
And this one here, of course, the offense doing what they do, but you got to watch this offensive line. And
yeah, there's a good move right there. We kind of slightly missed. Marcus did a great job. We got to sometimes win. We're not going to be perfect, and this is an example of Marcus doing a good job of avoiding the contact. They did a lot of different games up front to try to keep us guessing. Times when you stunt like that, you're going to catch us, but sometimes you're going to stunt yourself out of a play. So, again. Good job by him coming up. Good job by Marcus getting vertical. Again, all of our backs have just grown so much this year, and so proud of them.
A little push there by Zach to say, hey, go that way at the end of that. And the defense again.
Good upfield pressure by Jace there. Took the top shoulder away so he couldn't spin out, forcing back into the rush. Dash had an amazing game. Really playing well the last couple weeks. Continued that streak really well. Good job. We're, being patient because we knew he was a scramble-type guy. We had to really be disciplined lanes. And then when he moved, we had to trigger, go. If not, we could be in danger. I believe this is Cannon. Nope.
No, this is the one to
the little under to Jalen. There we go. Again, just pulling bodies along, not going down at all.
Well, it's literally five defenders there trying to bring him down.
Again, great job up front all day. Easy window to throw to. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, there's just great effort by Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
Next is this defensive play. And I always like this angle, Coach, because you can see those two bookends that you have there, Hudson and Armstrong.
Yeah, Nick is just kicked. The great move right there, coming back underneath to get back in the rush lane, and then the pursuit. He gave people fits all year. I mean, I was nervous as could be. I mean, he's a big, tall kid. He's a D1 commit. I mean, great job of getting to him, scrambling, multiple bodies pounding on him as the game went on. That's what you want to do. Gets quarterback out of their head, and disrupts them. Great split, great hole by the O-line right there, and it was great seeing EJ back in uniform, running again. Yeah, that ankle's still bothering him a little bit, but he's such a tough senior, and for him to get that opportunity there, get back in it, and that 1-2-3 punch we have now with them, and we're getting closer to getting Calvin back now, and we'll be back in that blessed area we were at the beginning of the year with all four. So really excited for him, and of course he got to punch it in. I believe this is the safety. Again, anytime you throw the ball in your end zone, you run the risk, because if you get a holding call back there, it's a safety as a result. And Christian Lyons here, 28, walks up.
You can see
He's
it right
on him.
here.
He starts to leave, gets twisted and pulled back in. So
that was easy.
Call. Yeah, it was easy call, but that was a huge play. Huge play by him in that process there.
I started turning the tide here, but this one, I think the run here by Justin.
Oh, yeah. Great up the field. We got two pancakes there, and Justin runs so effortlessly. I mean, his speed is just, you don't realize how fast he's going until you're next to him. You're like, oh, crap, he's by you. But great job of combining up front. We washed. Good job by Bartz washing his guy down. Takes it all the way across, and then not going to catch him after that point.
Yeah. And here's another good defense play inside the red zone.
Yeah.
Where, they were moving the ball a little bit, but.
Good pressure again. Great job between Jace forcing him up, Zach there to clean him off. D linemen staying in their gaps, not getting out of our areas. Dash right there, Zach right there. Then you got Big Ben jumping on. I mean, just tremendous job. Huge in the red zone. We had made some real key stops in the red zone for ourselves.
I think this one you were deep again. We'll go through some of the drive summary here, but just this pass to Troy.
Oh, yeah. Great touch. Dropped it right in. Big play.
Just number 9, a little fortunate just to have a hold of his jersey there, pull him down. But usually you see that where he's going to break away. But, right here he got it, just dropped it in there. That was such a good throw by Mason.
Huge play.
course, the defensive here again shows up, and it's that play
Yeah.
action. Nobody's
Again,
biting. Oh,
real patient there. And, how Zach kind of waited there, and instead of running right at him and forcing him to make a fast decision and run, just sit there, wait, knowing that our ends are going to get there, and allowed Zach to come up and make the play. You'll see it right here. You watch Zach. He's, all right, I'm just going to be patient. I'm not going to commit. And then once he makes his decision to pull it down, now he could trigger.
Well,
That's how you want to spy the quarterback in those situations.
That's exactly what you want to see out of your D-line, that good rip
This
there.
was a huge play. We had a series of penalties here that kept us occupied. Great touches right over the reach of 6. Probably could have released a little different, but it worked out. Jalen again showing his speed, field awareness, put their safety in a complex position with the motion. And so, again, this is one of those, we know it's happening. Like right now, we know, oh, boy, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Ben does a good job of holding the safety long enough that he can't get there, and good ball placement by Mason.
Yeah, touch on that ball just to get it over. And concentration, because Cortez came over, and, looked like he was almost going to tip it and knock it away, but able to drop it right in there, and Jalen does what he does. But, again,
Lou, this is right before the end of the half. We needed to get a big stop here. This is one of the sacks that gave us a chance, and then we'll come up with the interception, I believe, next. But these are the different types of plays that, right before half, when they're going to get the ball coming out, you can't give up points, and we did a tremendous job there against Zach. Ben flying around, Nico making his presence felt in the game again as a sophomore. He's really starting to play well.
Yeah, I think this may be
This is the second touchdown.
Yeah, Troy's run here, which you get a really good angle here from the end zone here in just a minute. But this is a good job by that offensive line up front. You look at everybody, hat on hat.
He gone.
Yeah, and once he gets to that point, he splits them. There's not gonna be.
So once he got vertical, I was like, yeah, this is probably not going to end well for them. It just great job up front getting our combos up between Blake and Zach here. Alex does a good job. You'll see we'll get the cut right here. Bang, center's down. We're up to linebacker, and now it's just you're off and running.
Yeah.
Not many guys in the state are going to catch him in that position right there.
And he didn't get touched. That's the thing, is he just ran through there. And
yeah, that's pretty special.
Yeah. He got some camera time there. Get on the camera.
This is the play before the safety. Again, they tried to run the ball. We were really playing some strategy here on how we wanted to attack them, whether we wanted 5 to get the ball or 12 because they do so much read-game. And we picked our poison with that. And 5 got us a couple times, but overall I was really proud of the way we played defensively. Huge, again, to 9 points. And I just that dude – he finds a way to block one. I'm telling you, I was standing next to Mason Johnson when he blocked, and he's like, "Yep, just like practice." And so, tremendous job, bends it, times it, and a great job. Field awareness. We didn't panic afterwards. Got on it and made the tackle, kept it from being a bigger play. So that was huge stop right there.
Again,
great play here. I thought Peyton Best had one of his best games. That young man. That 3 has made people look bad all year long. I was really concerned about it. He's a big physical. He's about the size of Jalen. And, we tried stopping Jalen on spring, did not much success. So, tremendous job.
Well, we'll get to see 2-9.
Yeah, you see 10 now. He's slow because he doesn't know where to go with DeLeon on the outside. That's the one DeLeon said. And great swat. We need to leave that ball alone, though. That wasn't very smart picking that one up. And what I love is like Jacob's coming up. You can see Jacob in the play going to Luke and telling him, "Hey, we don't need to pick that up. If he block past the line of scrimmage, it's just a block. Don't go get on it. Don't do something crazy." And he even came to me, "Hey, we need to remind them." After that, and I said, "No, you're right. We got to fix it." But that's what's fun is there's the IQ on our team, football wise, is getting so big.
Yeah.
I believe this is another fade in the end zone. Luke Meadis again. Great job. Lock lean. I thought he was going to get that one so close to having his second interception right there.
That would have been a great interception with the one-handed catch there. But, great awareness to turn and come back for the ball. That was really good coverage. And, of course, another defensive play here.
This is the 4th down, I believe, right before half. Again, trying to keep them off points. Pressure, force them out. Great drive and break. To catch that inbounds and do a tremendous job was very special. I was real happy. I've seen Coach A work with those guys so much on these things. And we had a really young secondary coming in this year, minus Jacob. And Luke, Luke didn't play much last year because of an injury. And so for them to get to that point and get to that element was really great.
Yeah, it was good to see. And as it says right there, Coach, on to round 3,
Yeah.
which is this week. And we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to bring up one of the coaches from the Rouse coaching staff, talk to him, ask him all the tough questions since he made it to the last week, playoff week. He's a little nervous. Coach Lambert looks a little nervous over there. Yeah.
Gonna put him on the spot.
He's like, uh-oh. All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Coach Lambert on Inside Raider Nation, live here from Sharksburger. We'll be back right after this. The Crossover's vision is to give kids and adults a chance to find out what they're passionate about and to motivate them to work hard to achieve great things. We want to bring families together in one destination where they can enjoy their time together no matter what dreams they are chasing. From here, you can go anywhere. The Crossover is Cedar Park's premier sports, wellness, and entertainment destination and is a proud supporter of Rouse Raiders football. Visit crossovertx.com to learn more and go Raiders. Welcome back to Inside Raider Nation, live here from Sharksburger, and I have with me one of the Rouse Raider coaches, Coach Lambert. Coach Lambert, position that you coached this year?
Receivers.
Receivers. You get to work Coach Elrod.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. That's actually a good thing, right? Talk about the receiving core that you guys have. You're very talented across the board, and the attention goes to Troy and to Jalen, rightly so. But you have people like Corey Simmons. Right. You have some of these younger guys that you've been around even on the freshman level.
Yeah.
That these guys are they're seeing that and they're learning from that. What an example. Talk a little bit about how it is to coach that group of receivers.
It's amazing. And shout out again to Coach Elrod. He's a great coach. He's done a great job. He's been with those guys since they were maybe 4th grade.
Yeah.
He showed me a picture when they were, this big, and they kind of look the same. They don't act the same, but he's done a great job with those guys, and rightfully so that Jalen and Troy get all of the, the big name stuff and all the attention. But Corey he's one of the best route runners. He does a great job. He blocks well. Donnie does a great job on the outside of Z. And then when those guys are out, we have, Alex that comes in and plays well. Alex is a big-time player at quarterback and receiver. He has great hands, and he can throw a bullet better than anyone. And then we have, some of the young guys coming up from freshman and JV, like Keller Rocket. He's going to be a big name coming up in the next couple years. Yeah. We have a lot of good freshmen coming up, so we're going to be set.
Yeah, so. It's a good group, and that young group. You got Will Albright that's come back from injury.
Right.
So you have some seniors that are role players, but it's the next man up mentality really when you get into the playoffs. And you guys have been fortunate enough to get a lot of rotation. Those guys in the game, and then those young kids getting in the game. You even got that Judson Mann kid catching a ball in a playoff game, and Keller catching Janda catching balls as well. So it's good to see that. This is year 1 for you at Rouse, correct?
Yep.
So what would you, if somebody said, what is Rouse Raider football about? Can you give them 1 or 2 words that would describe Rouse Raider football?
I don't know if I could do it in 2. I would probably say commitment and and I would say family. It is just like you said, a next man up mentality. It's a family feel, especially with our group of guys, because when you have a receiving core, it's a lot of guys. It's not just 2 or 3 guys or just just the starting 5 and then a couple of guys here and there. It's a lot. So it's a big family feel. It's a big commitment, and that's the way it is throughout the whole program, and not only just the program of football, but throughout the whole school. And so that's really great. And this being my first year, I honestly couldn't have asked for a better opportunity. So
yeah, it's spread across the school. I mean, you look at the success with cross country, with volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
It bleeds into football. Now you're looking at basketball. I mean, the boys basketball program undefeated so far. Don't know how they did today, but I'm sure we'll find out. They played St. Michael's. But they got some dudes, and it just baseball with their long run last season coming in, and that's just infectious.
Right.
But when you talk about those younger kids and you have those freshman receivers, it starts at the top, but those kids are blocking on those run blocks. Because a lot of times, let's be honest, sometimes receivers is like, I'm just going to run a route. If it's a run play, I may run kind of hard or not. But it's important because of the offense and the style that Coach Pleasant has. It bleeds down into those younger kids. So it's a work ethic that those kids are learning, and I don't think they realize it. You know what I mean? It's one of those cool things that I've been able to notice.
It definitely helps that we have the Jalen's and Troy's, because they can see that, and so they can see that they put in the work, and so they know that if they do the same thing, that in a few years they're going to be in the same position. Or even if they do it right, they can even elevate their game to new heights. And so that just helps us year after year. So
All right, now the tough questions, Coach. Are you ready? He's like, oh gosh, no math questions. I promise not to put anybody on the spot. Favorite flavor of ice cream? Well, if you had to pick one.
I'm going to say cake batter.
Cake batter.
Cake batter, yep.
That is the first, I think, right, Cody?
It is.
I don't think we've ever had anybody with cake batter. That's interesting.
I normally mix it with some kind of, turtle stuff, caramel and fudge, but cake batter is definitely a favorite.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite food? Like, what a food that you could eat all the time, 24/7? Do you have one?
I don't know. I'd have to say some kind of mixture of maybe like a chicken tortilla soup or a jambalaya, something that if I eat it every day, it has different flavors.
Gotcha.
I could easily say like a big, nice, juicy steak. But I think every day that would get kind of boring.
It might get a little boring. All right. What's one food that you would never, ever eat again?
Never, ever eat again?
Yeah.
In the field of Thanksgiving, I'm going to have to say, and I'm probably the only one that'll ever say this, cranberry sauce, macaroni and cheese, dressing.
Yeah.
I don't touch that stuff.
Really?
None of it,
okay.
no.
So what is your favorite Thanksgiving food? What do you usually have Thanksgiving? You have turkey?
My plate is normally filled with turkey, mashed potatoes, and gravy sprinkled all over.
Oh, yeah.
Green beans and a roll or cornbread. And I'm a meat eater, so it's 80% meat and then just vegetables just to have something different.
Just to kind of throw the plate kind of in balance, right? That's typically what I do as well. I can't find a plate big enough, and then when I do, then I get in that food coma, and then I just watch football.
And it's really just I eat it so that I can get to dessert, so I don't feel bad just eating dessert.
So I think this year what I'm going to do, Coach, and maybe you can take this advice, I'm going to eat dessert first. That's what I'm going to do this Thanksgiving, because I always get too full.
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking maybe the turkey can come after, but the desserts are going to come first for me this year.
I'm unable to do that because of the 2 little ones right there. And if I do that, then they're going to ask to do that. So
mine aren't little, so mine are older and they can fend for themselves. I'm getting to that point where I can, do my own thing, I guess, until my wife tells me no, right? And so then that's a little bit different. Let's talk a little bit of football, right?
Okay.
You're a sports guy. It doesn't have to be football. Favorite sports hero? Do you have somebody that when you were growing up that you're like, oh, I like this guy?
I'll go with football, and I have to say I'm from Indiana.
Okay.
Peyton Manning was a big hero of mine, just because he changed the game, and he was literally the whole team when he played. You see what happened when he got injured. So he was the first person that I saw in my lifetime, I guess, be considered, a whole factor for a team.
Yeah.
And other than him, I'd probably have to say Barry Sanders, just because I loved the way that he was so good yet so humble. Every time he scored, he didn't celebrate. He just he acted like he was like he'd been there before.
Yeah.
And so that's saying something. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I can agree with Barry Sanders. I mean, there's a lot to kind of look at now, and it's kind of different. You have a couple of little ones, and so think about how technology has changed since you were a kid.
Yep.
And how that is now. What, as a parent or coach for your players and for your kids, is your biggest concern these days?
it would, number one, have to be the distractions.
Yeah.
The social media distractions. I didn't have to worry about that stuff when I was younger, and it's just so easy to pull out a phone in your pocket and just look up something, and somebody posts something that you don't agree with or that you don't like, and now it's in your head. Yeah. And so those social media distractions are probably the number one thing.
Yeah, it's so prevalent these days. It's technology right at their fingertips, and we didn't have to grow up with that. So it's way different these days, and I don't know. Hats off to you for being able to deal with kids and having to deal with that, especially these days. And you coaches do such a great job of keeping those guys humble, and across the board. And you have some really good players, so you guys are doing a tremendous job. And it's been a long grind for you guys because it's been a long season. But I know when you get to this point, it's about where you're fortunate because you're one of 16 teams in the state of Texas in Class 5A Division II to still be playing. There's a lot of teams still sitting at home and getting to enjoy turkey. You guys will enjoy some turkey, and you'll get fed. Booster Club will take care of you guys. But you're getting to play the day after Thanksgiving, which is always a blessing, and it's always really cool. So we're looking forward to it, Coach. Before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout-out to?
Just entire Raider Nation. Make sure you come out and support Friday night. It's pack the house. It's at P Field, and it's a great field. It's big enough for, an entire fan base, so we really need your support. Come on out, and we're going to take it to Liberty Hill. So.
Yeah, all right. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time, and good luck on Friday, and look forward to talking to you again down the road.
For sure.
All right, we're going to take a break. Come back. We will talk about the game on Friday with Coach Mann, Liberty Hill at the Field in Pflugerville. So we will come back with more Inside Raider Nation right after this. The Crossover's vision is to give kids and adults a chance to find out what they're passionate about and to motivate them to work hard to achieve great things. We want to bring families together in one destination where they can enjoy their time together no matter what dreams they are chasing. From here, you can go anywhere. The Crossover is Cedar Park's premier sports, wellness, and entertainment destination and is a proud supporter of Rouse Raiders football. Visit crossovertx.com to learn more and go Raiders. Welcome back to Inside Raider Nation, live here from Sharksburger, as we now get to the last segment of the show, Coach, which is we're going to talk about the upcoming game against Liberty Hill, the rematch.
Heard it's a big game in town.
It's just been
about, what the rumor is.
What is it, about 335 days since the last time you guys played? Not that anybody's counting.
Yeah.
Kara Shorb. Coach, one of the things that we looked at and we keep track of during the broadcast is the drives that you guys started on. And, typically it's been that quick scoring offense and big plays. You started on your own 13 and your own 10-yard line, 6 play drives, each one of them. But you finished off with the 62-yard touchdown run by Troy and then the 55-yard touchdown pass to Jalen in the first 2. And then you started in the best field position was on the 47 of Floresville, 8 plays, touchdown. We're not used to seeing 6 and 8 plays, drives, but that sustains it. But I think the biggest one is when you started on your own 25 and it was a 12-play drive.
Yeah.
And it was a 7-yard touchdown pass to Troy, his second on the night. And it was just like you're starting to see more methodical offense. I mean, and more kind of dynamic. Well, I wouldn't say dynamic, more balanced, I guess, as you could say, right? Because you had drives of 6, 8, and 4, and then 12.
Yeah.
And that was all in the first half. And we get spoiled as the media guys of going every time it's a touchdown, pass, run, pass, run, pass. That's not always going to be the case. So how has this offense evolved in your eyes over the course of from last year being so explosive and being the new kids on the block? People weren't used to seeing this, and now you come in and now they've kind of seen it. People have somewhat of an idea of how they think they're going to stop it, but when you sustain a 12-play drive and you chew up the clock and you cap it off with a touchdown, that's got to get the eyebrows raised a little bit more.
Yeah, those are the gut punch drives. I mean, the big plays, you're like, okay, but you get to go right back out and have an opportunity, and those are fun. They take some of the win out, but when you are able to sustain a drive where you're mixing a good solid run with the short throw game, because we want to run the ball as much as we. I mean, any offense, I don't care almost what system you're in, you want to be able to run the ball because if you're able to physically, it means you're better up front. Right. And if you can physically do that, it makes the throwing lanes a lot better. It makes the RPO game a lot better. You can put their defense in more complex situations. You usually, when you run the ball, avoid the third and long situations. So those are what we're key on those. What I was proud of last night, we hit the big plays, which we are capable of in any game. We've shown that even in a game where we didn't play as well in the second half against Glenn, the first half against Brenham, but we were able to get our play. We have playmakers, and so our offense is we got to make sure that our playmakers get the ball. But yet we were able to settle down and sustain drives because in the Glenn game we jumped up early, got out of sync, and it was the long drive on the ground that got us back in rhythm, got our offense back set. It's we got to get first downs. First downs are huge for us because 3 and outs really make it difficult to get in the rhythm that we want this offense to be in. So that I think that's going to be a key thing going in this week against Liberty Hill. I mean, we're playing one of the best defenses I believe in the area. They're as good as anybody we played across the board. Number 10's back, the inside linebacker. He's phenomenal. Really love the way he plays the game. He's a big, strong, physical kid. He can play the box. He plays out of the box well. So I would definitely, he had the big plays against us last year that flipped the momentum in their game. So obviously we got to know where he is. Number 17 up front of the D-line is back as well. He gave us some problems and some protection things last year. He's bigger. He's stronger. So, again, he's going to be a challenge up front. Love their outside backer, number 3. Again, he's 6'2"-ish, very long. Can get in the throwing lanes really well, plays the run well. He operates in space good. So, again, he's accountable. Number 5, who's also back, was the other outside backer. He's been around a couple places, but he's mainly been at safety this year. So, they moved him back there. He's, again, a 6'2", 6'3", long, rangy guy that can cover space. And then the rest of the defense are really good football players. Again, it's not one of those weeks where you go, there he is. We can go at that guy. Yeah. We're going to have to be great across the board on all times. We got to establish some run game, obviously, but at the end of the day, we got to get our playmakers the ball as much and often as we can. We got to stay in rhythm. When you're playing the style of offense that they run, you want to be able to put points up, try to make them press to get out of their run because they don't throw the ball very often, like 20 times all year. So, there's the complexity of the two different styles there.
So from a media standpoint, we'll ask this question, and I think I kind of know the answer, but as far as they saw you guys last year in this same round, do you think this year more balanced on the offensive side than you were at this point last year? I mean, it was 9-game regular season, and then you were at this point, so this was game 12. You're now at game 13, so you're 1 game ahead.
Yeah.
Do you think this offense has matured enough to be we see another 12-play drive that started on your own 3-yard line.
Yep.
and you went 12 plays, capped it off, and that was EJ punching it in from a yard out. But that was his big, 38-yard run to get down to that point. Do you think the offense for the Rouse Raiders is more mature, more balanced than last year?
I think more mature because we're not in uncharted territory. Last year at times, the Elgin game early, some in other games, we were real emotional if we didn't get a first down and stuff, and we still are. I still have to talk them off the ledge sometimes with our receivers. They want to go for it on every fourth down. Guys, punting. Teams do punt the ball, believe it or not, and we got to do that. But I think we're more mature. I think that we don't lose our composure as fast. We can stay when things aren't quite going our way. There's not a panic, as I sensed at times last year. And then we would come back and get control again. The confidence they have, no matter what the situation, because we've been through last year's experiences plus this year's experience, which were the more they're a veteran defense, we're a veteran offense. So last year we were a younger offense. Right. We still had a lot of sophomores, juniors that were in first-time moments. So I think with our seniors and our sophomores that are now juniors experience, I think that gives us a little bit of advantage there than what we had last year going into this game.
And I think at this point, and like we talked about early in the show, was the defense, right? The question of the defense. Mm-hmm. And everybody, there's most teams that are going to struggle of how do you stop it. And you think you can figure out a way to stop the slot T, wing T, whatever you want to call it, their style of offense. But it's so much misdirection. And, Glenn tried some of this, and we're successful at times, but I don't think they've been conditioned and programmed like the kids at Liberty Hill who do this as soon as they put on pads. And this is the offense that they run. So it's almost second nature for them. But I think if you look at the game, and I'm going to be the one to say it, not Coach Mann, there was plenty of holding calls that didn't get called. There were plenty of false starts that didn't get called. And that's very tricky when there's all that motion right before the play happens of did he make motion towards the line of scrimmage. And that's always got to be concerning because you're like, we're in the right place, right time. That happens. Sometimes it gets called. And that's part of the game, right? One of the things that you can't control is the referees, the field conditions, and the weather. All those are going to be perfect on Friday night, by the way. I'm just going to say it now. But as this offense comes out, and that's always a concern, how do you stop them? Defensively, I think with the momentum you guys have, you have to feel better coming into this game because of the way your defense has evolved and how they're playing right now.
Well, I feel better because we played it against it last year, and we had moments of success. Obviously, they put up 52 points, so I don't know if you're like, well, I don't know if that was a lot of success. There were. We held them to 21.5 against that offense last year. They were extremely senior-heavy, minus number 21 who rotated in for them last year, who as a freshman looked unbelievable. He's still really good as a sophomore. They've had to completely overhaul. They lost everybody in that group. And Simpson last year was one of the best high school players I've seen play in a long time. You add that with the other elements that they had, their senior-heavy experience. Yeah. So they're younger. They're mainly juniors up front on the O-line with the exception of one or two. And, the tight end is good. But, then the backfield is two sophomores and a junior running back, junior quarterback. So there's a lot of youth. They're the flip side where our defense last year was young. Right. Yeah, our defense was very young. Minus, the two inside backers and a safety, we were really pretty young across. And now we're a little bit more the veteran group. So we've seen what it looks like for them to come out of a huddle. We know the speed and the cuts that they're going to bring us. We know they're going to hold, but we're not going to get that call, so don't worry about it. Their offense, if we were just playing the slot T where they were traditional old school, where they were going to break the huddle, have two plays called, check it at the line, run their system, get out, get set, make sure they got the right play called, and then run it, I feel very confident that we can easily stop what they do. They've advanced their system with the speed they run it. They don't allow you to get in and get set. A lot of it's predicated on them. They are the fastest out of the huddle. They're fastest to the line. They don't care what play they call. They're going to run it, and they do a tremendous job up front identifying where they got to be. And a lot of it's just chaos. And it allows them to get their backs, which they're good. They're not – to say they're as good as what they were in the backfield last year, no. But they're really good still. I think they're comparable to Glenn as far as their running backs. Up front, them versus Glenn, they're not as big as Glenn up front. But they ran it a lot faster. They're going to come off a lot lower and a lot harder. Glenn's going to get there with their system. It's just something that takes a while to get those kids to understand. They're going to be a 4-point stance. They're coming off knee high, and it is go time. You better have your pads down ready to go. But knowing that we've seen it once this year, we've got to rep it. Our scout team's got to rep it once this year already. So it's not like we had to come in today and this is brand new. So this is how you get in a stance. This is what this term means. This is what this play looks like. We were already comfortable this morning going back and reviewing it, like, oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that versus, okay, this is the first time you do this. This is the first time you had to put it. Everybody knew to get a 4-point stand. I mean, you start coaching this stuff from scratch against Scout. I didn't feel like we were starting from scratch this morning, which I think is a big help. Is you still can't simulate it. Right. Well, I mean, we can run this thing for 2 weeks and won't simulate like they do because they're great at it.
Yeah.
I mean, they are a great football team. I think, they have 2 losses on this season. Both came earlier. They were in some good tested battles, battled Georgetown really well, lost to a very good LBJ team, lost to Ellison week 1, which I think they play that game now. I think Liberty Hill would win that game now. They're a little slower starting on offense than they were last year. But, I mean, again, last year was unbelievable talent, unbelievable senior-heavy team. That's scary because in 2 years, guess who's going to be in that same position again?
Yeah.
They are. We have a chance to be the not more mature. I don't think they're immature team. We're the more veteran team. I think across the board in this circumstance. So that we get to be the home team this year, which I don't know if that matters much at a neutral stadium, but we're going to count it. And so that's going to be exciting. I think we've played in some big moments and some big games. They have too, so it's going to be I'm just excited. When you get these two teams, it's a rematch. It's a rivalry. It is for the people in the stands. I've been usually rivalry coaches, I don't want to talk to them. I don't like them. I don't like their colors. I don't like anything about them. I don't feel that way towards Liberty Hill. I obviously want to beat them. I want to beat them bad if we can. But talking to Coach Walker is always a pleasure. They're easy to work with. They have a ton of respect for our guys. We have a ton of respect for them. And this is what every round from here, if you're blessed enough to advance, is going to be a big game in a big stadium with a good crowd, and the stakes are as high as they can be. And they just get higher each round. And so just reminded that we're one of 16 teams playing. Did not have to worry about who went to class today. That was a big stress relief for me. Yeah. Knowing are they doing what they're supposed to, or did they behave at lunch? All that stuff was off the plate this week. So it's just a fun week. You get to focus on football and play. And there's 4 teams in our region left, and one of our goals, the standard was make the playoffs. Expectations to win the district. Well, one of our goals was to win the region, and that's a big goal. That's hard to do, and we're 2 games away from that or a game away from trying that opportunity. And it just happens we're playing Liberty Hill again, and I love it that it's going to be at the P Field. Huge crowd. I'm anticipating. I'm getting all calls left and right all week, and plenty of advice from everybody, and so it's awesome. Everybody wants this. Thing we got to do is just go play a game. Yeah. And let all the hoopla and all that, and be excited that you're going to get to play in this game. How many times in your high school career are you going to get to play in this type of game? Yeah. You don't. So win, lose, whatever happens, it's a great season. We've already checked a lot of boxes. Now it's time to go maybe one more reward in it.
Yeah, and, Coach, one of the things that we're going to talk about that I think is going to be the factor, and you get this point in the season, it's that third phase of the game. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to knock on wood again because I always wait to say – after he makes the extra point or kicks a field goal, he's perfect on the season. But you have a kicker in Mason Johnson who hasn't missed this season. Your special teams has done well on kickoff cover, punt cover. Obviously, when you have 16 on the line, that's always something they got to account for. But Correct. Then when you account for him, then you got number 29 with the long arms to come through there and block the field goal. The third phase of the game, at this point in the season, could be the deciding factor. It could be the flip of the field on a punt. They muff the punt. It could be just like we saw against Floresville on the kickoff, and it goes through his legs, and now they're back deep. I think that part is matured from last season to this season. It was such an emphasis with Coach Pales, and now it is like one of the things that is just expected, right? If you're on special teams, that is a badge of honor.
Oh, it is. It's huge. And, this week we're going to amp it up. And, each week Coach Bellis tells them, nobody's guaranteed. And it's no different than starting on offense, defense. You don't play well, you're probably going to get replaced. And so, each week we evaluate them. We treat it just like if it was the starting quarterback, if it was the starting inside backer. Did you stay in your lane? Did you contain? Did you do the things that we asked you to do on that play? If you didn't, and there's somebody else that can do it better, then you're going to get replaced. And so it puts pressure on them, yes, but it's also been a huge phase for us. And returning the ball, I believe Troy, Coach Elrod told me that we broke another record with Troy this week. That's the most kickoff return yards, or he tied it or broke it in a season. With his big return he had in the second half. He's dangerous, but if you don't kick it to him, you're kicking it to Best, who can run. You got Jalen up on, in the front too. So, Metis is not – he's dangerous as well. I mean, we got our playmakers out there. You look at our kickoff, you see Jacob De Leon, and a lot of that. You'll see a lot of starters on that running down the field. I've been proud of the way we've adjusted. Punt was a little bit of a struggle for us earlier, and we've continued to grow and work on that. Ty's done a great job snapping for us. So, we got to continue to do those things well in this game. Just relax, breathe, and execute. And some of that's the way we prep and practice, but then that's credit to our kids, too, making plays. And Coach Pell's doing a great job with it.
Has Coach Pell's watched the Arkansas fake field goal against Alabama? Just a question, Coach, just a question. I looked at it and okay, it was really well executed. Something's not expected, but I'm not going to give anything away. Coach Mann is always keeping him close to his vest, but I do know that there has been a change in how you approach that game. And, typically it was always I could guess what he was going to do if he won the coin toss. Yeah. It hasn't been the same way. So I don't know what has changed over the course of the last 2 years, but something has changed, and I think I know what it is. You have such a potent offense that you need the ball in their hands and put the other team with a little bit more pressure than they're already facing because, like I said, it's going to be a great game, but I think that third phase of the game is what's going to be key.
I agree.
Here. And, Liberty Hill's used to kicking a lot of extra points because they score a lot, right? I mean, they put up a lot of points. They've scored 108 in their last 2 games, so they're right on pace. And everybody looks at that, and they've given up 21 points. You guys have given up 25. You look at that and you start analyzing that part, Coach, and that's when people are like, okay, well, your defense is better than theirs because they've given up more points. Your offense is better than theirs. It's going to come down to just getting to play football on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, if you were playing those things, when you get into analytics, it's so hard to do in high school versus more maybe in college and definitely in NFL because NFL, the talent is so close. So your analytics probably play more true. You can use those books and texts and things like that. On the back end, you start getting college. Well, you just get some unmatched modes. I mean, there's been a couple teams in their district that were not going to be very good, and you're just going to lopside those statistics. And so then you have to take that out. And then there's weather, there's other things that impact games, health, injuries, things like that. But yeah, I mean, this is as close of a game on paper. 2 different styles of offenses, both I think playing really good defense at this point. So it's just going to be fun. They're extremely well coached in all 3 phases. I believe we're coached well in all 3 phases. It's going to be a football game, and sometimes, we talk about you get to this point, you have to be good. Check that box, we're good. You're going to have some breaks, and you're going to have to stay healthy. And you're not always in control of all that. We're going to be a little behind that ball just a little bit going in for the first half of this game. And but I have faith in the guys that are going to be on the field. I believe that they can step up to the challenge and answer the call, and those little things that we need to do to win. I believe we can, and I believe we've been fortunate this year. I mean, 11 wins, school record in that. We've won a whole lot of games in the last 2 years, and very few times have we had to get on the bus feeling disappointed. And so I want to delay that as long as we can, and I believe this team is confident, and I know they believe in themselves, so it's time for us to go prove that this week and go get an opportunity to beat a really good football team if we're blessed to do it.
Yeah, I think the media, I heard somebody say that from 2 years ago, 1-9 to now a combined 21-3 in the last 2 seasons is phenomenal and speaks well of not just the kids and being able to buy into the system, but the coaching staff and all the hard work that's been put in. But all the previous seasons before, the culture that's being built, I think is one of the big things. It's going to be a great game on Friday, so you can we'll have information on how they can watch it if they can't be there. That'll come out later in the week. But I don't know why you would want to miss it.
Go to e-tickets at Pville ISD. I believe we have it on the email that we sent out on the Booster Club. It's probably on the websites as well. Go buy your tickets. Go get. This is one of those you're in the area, go to the game.
Yeah.
Don't watch it on the stream. It's time to be there in person. Get there, pack the stands. We need to make a home field environment there for us. They're going to travel well. They always do. Liberty Hill's a proud community. Got some state titles. They're used to winning, and so we got two programs that one's more been a longer established. Us in that time, we've have a little history playing each other. So it's going to be fun. Time to go to work.
It's going to be fun. Now, if you want to watch the stream, that's perfectly fine. If it's available, he's not saying that. But if you're out of state,
out of area,
right? You're in Amarillo or Virginia or any of those places.
Y'all watch it.
You guys can
or
watch
fly
it.
in. So
there you go.
You're going to lose a few because there's a lot of people coming in town this week for this game.
Yeah, so it's going to be a great game. Friday night, 7 o'clock at Pflugerville Stadium, the Field, as we like to call it, Rouse Liberty Hill, and it's going to be a great game. And we're looking forward to it, and however we can be there to watch it. So it's going to be something to watch. We have to thank our sponsors again. Appreciate all that they do. We have to thank the Rouse Raider Football Booster Club for all that they have done and they're continuing to do throughout this playoff run and through the season. A lot of volunteers and unsung heroes that just love the Rouse Raider football program and love to take care of the kids from the freshmen all the way up to those seniors. And they've done a great job all season long, so hats off to them. And to the coaching staff and the coaches' wives who have endured this long season, and they're like, yeah, coach, just go because you're one of 16. Just go. Keep going. Yeah. They're pushing you. And the coaching staff and all the players and everybody that supports A to Z Sports Media, we appreciate them because this is a week of Thanksgiving, Coach. So we have to be thankful for everything that we've had and thankful for the 7 years that we've been doing this show and Coach Mann being gracious to answer most of the questions I ask him. He's very gracious in doing that, but also supporting us and helping highlight the program we have continued to try to do throughout the years. So we're thankful for that. And I thank everybody on the A to Z Sports Media team, executive producer Cody Franks, back where he belongs, behind the computer, behind the camera, pushing the buttons and doing what he does. So for Coach Mann, for everybody, A to Z Sports Media, I'm Sonny Zappetta, voice of the Raiders, saying good night and God bless. And as always,